What are 4 important communication concepts that every consultant needs to know about? Hi everyone, my name is Johannes and welcome to this channel, welcome to Mastering Consulting. On this channel I share my own learnings and experiences from my own current journey in management consulting to help you to become more successful in consulting while also living a balanced life. And if you're new to this channel, then please make sure to subscribe to it. Also, please leave a thumb up and also hit the bell button. This will help you that you don't miss any new video on this channel. And with that being said, today we have a very interesting topic that many people ask about. We will talk about 4 important communication concepts for management consultants. So why is communication so important in management consulting? The thing is that management consultants typically communicate on a daily basis. So this can be, for example, presentations that we do for clients. It could be email communication, it could be meetings, or it could just be a networking event where we try to build a relationship to a client or to our team even. And I started learning about communication when I joined management consulting, and this was where I actually realized how important great communication skills actually are. And what I did back then was that I read as much as possible about communication, and there were 4 books that really stuck with me and that really brought a lot of value to me. The first one was Starting with Why by Simon Sinek. Second one was The Pyramid Principle by Barbara Minto. The third one was The Way of the Wolf by Jordan Belfort. And the fourth one was How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And each of those books has certain core concepts, and I think these are 4 very useful concepts that help me a lot in management consulting and to improve my communication significantly. But with this being said, let's talk about the 4 concepts of these books. So let's start with concept number 1 from the book Starting with Why by Simon Sinek. You see, the thing is that very often in consulting, we have to ask people to do something for us. So for example, if we want to do a data analysis, then we typically set up a template and we send it to certain people within the organization and ask them to provide, for example, data for us. And what I did back then, and what I still see what many junior consultants do, is that they prepare the template, they write an email, and they just explain what the other side has to do. Well, the big issue here is that people don't do things if they don't understand why they shall do it. So it's very important, and this is also something the book talks about, to start with the why first and to explain why people should do something and how they would benefit for it. So the book suggests a 3-step approach. I slightly modified it for my own purposes. So it says, okay, step number 1 is to really explain why people should do it. Step number 2 is to explain what people should do. And step number 3 is to explain how should people do it. So for example, if you want to do a data request and ask people to provide the data, your email should start with explaining the why. So maybe you talk about the project, maybe you talk about why this data is important for you, and also how the person can benefit from it. After that, you can say, okay, what do you have to do? Then you describe what you need from the people and how do you have to do it. Then you refer to the template that you send with your email, and that will explain exactly how people should do things. So let's talk about principle number 1. Let's talk about the pyramid principle by Barbara Minto, or the top-down principle. And in management consulting, we typically have very complex things that we need to communicate. So we are hired to solve business problems, and this typically means that the solution or the problem itself might be a bit complex. So what I see, what many people do wrong, especially at the beginning, and what I also certainly did wrong, was that people start with all the details at the beginning, okay? Because they want to show how much they know, they want to show how complex things are, and they want to show what work they did. But and that leads them to talk about the details. But the big issue here is that in most management consulting projects, you really talk to the top management, and they first don't have a lot of time, and they second often are not that much into details as you are, or that the other organization is. So what you typically do, and that's what the pyramid principle is talking about, is that you start top down and really try to focus on the key message first. After that, you provide a structure on how you want to explain or provide arguments for your key message. And after that, you break it down, and then you have time to do the deep dives. And that really helps the person to, at the beginning of your communication, really understand your key message. Then you lay out a structure, and this gives also the audience a structure to follow you, and then you follow up with the details. The third communication principle is based on a book, The Way of the Wolf, from Jordan Belfort. And when I read about communication, I also read a little bit about sales, and this is definitely a sales book. But what I realized when I read the book was that actually every consulting meeting is a sale, okay? Because you charge on a daily basis, and every day, again and again and again, you have to show the value to the client. So I started thinking about meetings also like sales pitches. And that's why the communication principles from The Way of the Wolf, from Jordan Belfort, also apply, in my opinion, to a lot of situations in management consulting. And what I did back then, and what I also see with many junior consultants, is that they are too passive in the meetings. But the thing is that perception is reality. So the way how you are perceived by the client is very, very important in the judgment of your overall performance. So make it a habit that you don't only focus on the content that you provide. Of course, it's very important that you have high quality work and that your analysis is right, but it's also important how you present it. Because believe me, and I've been in hundreds of management meetings, the content is the one side, but they also want to know, or they also judge on how you present it and how you are perceived as a person, as a presenter. And Jordan Belfort, in his book, he says that you want to be perceived in 3 ways. He says that first of all, you want to be as sharp as a tack. And this means that you generally just appear to be a smart person. So in management consulting, the ground rule is that you always pay attention. So I know this is sometimes difficult, even if you have, especially if you have longer meetings and if you are not the main presenter, but pay attention and really try to think all the time. And if you are asked a question or if you make a comment, make it short, make it very to the point, and this will make you appear much smarter than if you wouldn't pay attention or just, start talking without making a point. Second, Jordan Belfort says that you want to appear enthusiastic as hell. And this means that no matter what you're talking about, that you also show some emotions and some passion about the topic. And a third thing that Jordan Belfort suggests that you want to be perceived as is that you are an expert in your field. And I know, especially if you start out in management consulting, you are no expert in your field, okay? Because you're still at the beginning of your journey. Nevertheless, you want to be perceived as competent as possible and in a very professional way. And the fourth concept that I want to talk about are just some basic communication rules from the book How to Win Friends and Influence People from Dale Carnegie. You see, management consulting is a people's business, okay? So your performance on the job often highly depends on how well you get along with certain stakeholders and people. So it's very important to not only focus on the content that you provide and the analysis, and also not only on doing sales. It's also always very important to build kind of deep relationships with your main stakeholders, because that builds trust and that helps you as a consultant to solve problems and to transport messages. So in the book How to Win Friends and Influence People, he talks about many rules for building relationships, and I just want to list a few, like being interested in other people, like smiling when you're talking to other people, also like remembering names of people. I think this is very important in business. Also to listen actively and to let other people do the talking. This is also very crucial. Also, you should make them feel important, okay? So never try to kind of downgrade people you're communicating with. And this you can apply in every situation. So no matter if you are talking in a meeting, if you have a client dinner, or if you just meet a person somewhere in the office, those are just some very basic communication rules that you should apply. So of course I want to know what other communication principles you think are important. So please let me know in the comments. Also, if this brought value to you, then please make sure to subscribe to this channel, leave a thumb up, and also hit the bell. This will help you that you don't miss any new video here. And with that being said, I wish you a very successful day. Hope to see you soon. Goodbye, Johannes.